Most likely, you are addicted to video games and you probably don't even realize. See, I used to spend minimum of 8 hours a day on video games, and I would often normally go to 14 hours a day and most likely 20 hours a day. Now, that was on school holidays and also weekends. But the thing is, I actually didn't really enjoy playing video games. It took me a little while to actually figure it out, but once you're actually playing it, you realize, nah, it's kind of shit, but it was just a distraction. The reason that I found it so hard to actually quit video games is you get that sense of progression, you level up, let's say, I don't know, you get to Master Prestige in Call of Duty, or you get the next sword in the video game. You get addicted to that sense of progression. That's what I was addicted to. They've tapped into your primal brain and it's making it hard to actually leave the video game. Even though I wasn't going to play the video game anymore, it always made me want to go back and be like, oh, let me get this skin, let me get this cosmetic. And I had to think about it and be like, why am I going to spend all this time to get this cosmetic in this game if I have no intention of playing it again? Some people might be addicted to the status. So let's say the new Call of Duty comes out and you've got Master Prestige or your Prestige or whatever the new Call of Duty stuff is. You have respect and status from other people that are actually in the game because they're below you. But then once you log off the game, well, you don't really have that respect and status because you're just a fat, chubby dude who lives in his mum's basement. He's 32 years old and moderates Discord. You've gone from top level in this video game to absolute bottom of the barrel because you are a loser. And it's hard to go from that jump to the bottom, and that's what keeps you addicted because you realize that you're a loser and the video games are an escape from actual real life. I calculated all my time spent on my Xbox and also the Switch, and I've got it here. I spent 221 days, 234 hours, 761 minutes. The total I spent in days is 297.5 days. That's only on my Xbox. Now on the Nintendo Switch, I spent 4,223 hours, and that in days is 175.95. I don't really have much to show for it pretty much because let's say that game that I spent most of my time on, let's say in the next 10 years, no one will be playing it and it will be phased out and probably eventually deleted. So all that time that I spent on it got deleted. Like this one time, me and my friends would always go on the weekends and Friday nights and stuff. We'd play Minecraft. Been playing this one world for 1 year, almost 2 years, and we had built a bunch of stuff. We were having a bunch of fun playing. We're building our bases. We were building like a bunch of stuff. I built McDonald's and stuff like that. And it was on my brother's iPad. So with the iPads is they don't really save your world. And my brother's iPad reset for some reason and it uninstalled Minecraft. And when he reinstalled it back, all the worlds that we had spent the time on, but mainly that one world we spent a year, maybe 2 years on, just got deleted and there was nothing to show for it. I do have a video, like a 10-second video, when we were like a half year through that my sister recorded because she wanted to send to her friend about what the world we're building. But that's the only proof that I actually have of that world. We don't actually have the world back and I don't think you can get it back once it's been deleted. See, it took me a little while to actually figure out how to actually get rid of this video game addiction. The way that I actually got rid of this addiction, I went on self-improvement, kind of learnt the negative effects of video games, and what I did to actually get rid of it is I replaced it with something else, a different habit. I replaced it with learning about my business, learning business skills, and honestly, it wasn't like I was kept on relapsing and trying to creep back to the video game. It was just like I had occupied myself with doing this, I enjoyed it, and I didn't even think about it. See, but the thing is, with addiction, you can trade it for a habit and stuff like that, but if you still have empty time, you will eventually go back to the old habit, and that leads back to the video games and stuff, so you can't let yourself do that. It is a bit hard. I have had multiple times where I've slipped up and probably played video games for a couple hours after I've done my work, but I did figure out what made me go back to my old habits. I had a bunch of free time, which then let me go back to my old habits. You got to do more work in the day than you can actually finish in the day. So there's always more work to do, you just don't see it. Another reason of my addiction, see, I would go on Call of Duty. I mean, I kind of like Call of Duty, but this is what I would do. I'd go search up on the computer, I'd be like, best gun classes, best guns. And what I would do is I'd play and get that gun max level or to the level that I need all the attachments to make it the best gun in the game. And once I got it to that level, I just never played with the gun again. See, I was addicted to the progression, not the end result, which you would think that once you spent all this time playing and grinding for this gun to get the best class, you'd play with it. But I just stopped, never playing with it again. I was just addicted to the progression. And when I was grinding for the gun, I absolutely hated playing. I would always like rage and stuff. Well, not really. Call of Duty kind of made me angry. But I would hate playing it, and then I would progress, and then I would get to the gun and get the max level of it, and then best class, blah blah blah. And the whole way of the progression, I hated it pretty much. I never really enjoyed it. The reason that people do play video games, because it's an escape from reality kind of. Because when you're thinking about the video game and playing the video game, you're not actually thinking about their jobs. They don't like their 9 to 5s. They don't like their car. They don't like the commute. They don't like blah 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 blah. But what they do is they just distract themselves from it because they hate being in that life. You're only focused on the video game. See, that's why people play it a lot. They say it's relaxing, well, because they don't have to deal with the real world problems and the stuff that they actually need to solve. And that makes them relax. They're actually just doing it to escape their reality that they're in right now. Because they escape the reality that they're in right now, they will never actually leave it because they're just distracted looking the other way and not actually solving the problem that they're facing. See, instead of that time, you could use it to actually escape the life that you're trying to escape from by learning new skills, or you could make a business, side hustle, something like that. Because if you keep on trying to escape the reality, not trying to face it and beat it, not by playing video games, but because you can have financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And there's often times that people be like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to start today, but you know what, I want to play this video game one more time, just want to play it one more time. And then they keep on saying that, and then they never actually quit it. See, with video games is people buy, let's say 2K or whatever the year is now. I don't play 2K or the basketball game. So people play, I don't know, for me it might be $100 Australian, or I've never bought it before, but what people do is they buy it each and every year, and there's nothing really different with it. Maybe the shooting mechanic might be different. Maybe it goes to the color green instead of blue. I mean, I've played it before, but I don't understand why people buy it each and every year when there's not much different. You're spending money on the same game. And even when you win in a video game, let's say you win in Fortnite, you win, you become the last person alive. Well, you won in the game, you didn't really win in real life. You actually lost because you wasted time and you can't get that time back. You could spend that time more wisely. Let's say learn business skills, or you learn maybe another language. You want to learn another language, or you learn a skill that can increase your income. Let's say that you are a copywriter, you work for a business. Now what you could do is, imagine if you learned sales skills. Now you could potentially leave that, become a freelancer, and then you're your own boss, you're on your own time, and you could even, if you wanted to, run your own copywriting business. See, with that extra skill, let's say you increase your yearly income by 30% just by learning that one skill. What's a better return on investment? You relaxing playing video games, or a 30% increase because you learnt sales or marketing or something like that? Or you can play video games and become a millionaire or a billionaire in GTA. Or you could become a billionaire or a millionaire by learning skills in that time frame. So let's say you made $1 million in GTA. Well, technically you didn't make anything because you don't actually have it physically, you've only got it in-game. Let's say you're going to play video games. Let's say you play, I don't know, whatever game you're going to play. Just randomly, when you're playing, don't set a timer or anything, or you could if you wanted to. Step back and stop thinking about the video game and think, am I actually enjoying playing this game? Or is it just a distraction that I think I'm enjoying, but I'm really not? You'll actually come to the answer that you're not actually enjoying playing the video game. You're just wasting your time, and because you're addicted, you believe that you were enjoying the video game, but you actually turn out that you're not. Life is like a video game. Let's say in the video game, you start off here, and then this is the end of the game. See, in this time, you learn new things. Let's say over here, you learn a new fighting skill, and that fighting skill opens a new tree of skills. Like maybe you might be able to learn a new move or whatever it might be for the game. And then by the end, you're the best at it and you've unlocked everything. So now that's same with real life. Over here, let's say, let's say you're in your teens, you start off school, you learn a little bit of stuff, but at the end of this is you at the end, your best form. See, in between this, you have to learn a lot more skills, and you also have to go through the pain and the suffering as well as in a video game. But the only difference is that you actually get a respawn in a video game. In real life, you got one chance. See, but the good thing about real life is you working hard, you actually get to spoils of your labour. See, imagine where you would be right now if you didn't spend all that time on video games. Let's say you spent that time learning a new skill. Where would you have been right now at this current moment if you didn't waste any time? See, if I didn't spend over a year playing video games and just spent that entire year, spent that on my business, that would have got me so much further than I am now. See, video games don't really have a purpose, especially in my point right now where I'm on my self-improvement journey, trying to make money and blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you're a multi-trillionaire, I mean, sure, do whatever the fuck you want. You can play video games if you want. You could even buy Xbox or something if you're a trillionaire, or have your own esports team or whatever you want to do with it. But if you're at the position that I'm in right now, I don't think you should be playing video games. Short-term pain for a long-term gain.